Peter Burns, the governor. Christopher Doring, as always, hit us up on Twitter throughout the show. You can tweet us using the hashtag SECThisMorning and follow us on Twitter all week long at Chris Doring, myself at Peter Burns ESPN. Time for a little rapid-fire water cooler with GR3.
Spanning the world for the biggest stories that you are talking about. It's SEC This Morning's Water Cooler.
All right, GR3, 3 questions from around the world of sports we haven't had a chance to get into today. What do we got first?
Oh, I got a good one to start you guys off with. We're going out to Texas, and Tom Herman, if you didn't see him before the game here, headbutting his own players, took his hat off to headbutt players on his own team. And I just got to ask you, because I see this and it just makes me wonder, is this a sign of the end for Tom Herman?
What is he? Okay, so here he is.
Oh,
it wasn't just one. No, it's 4. It's 4. That's got to be concussion protocol,
that's targeting right there, man.
Yeah, thrown out. He has to sit out. Actually, he may have to coach. He should sit out
this
coaching.
This was actually nominated for Bless Your Heart because not only did you do this to try to get your team hype, but then they come out and lay a complete egg against Baylor.
Right.
Clearly not an effective means of getting your team ready to go.
It is amazing about how sometimes, a decision plays itself in the butterfly effect, right? Like I was told way back in the day, now that I've been the anchor for the network for a while time, I was like the 9th pick to be the 3rd anchor for the SEC network.
That's all right.
No, it's fine because I got that opportunity, right? Ed Ogeron was the 3rd guy for LSU. Worked out pretty well when Jimbo Fisher and they couldn't come to a deal. Tom Herman playing footsie with LSU and used them as leverage to get Charlie Strong fired up in Austin. But I mean, the fact that it worked out this way for LSU and the fact now that Tom Herman, who was looked at as to be a no-brainer at UT, I just don't understand the struggles there because it's a blue blood. They're in a recruiting area that's very fertile, yet they just can't put it together.
Yeah, it's frustrating for those Texas fans for sure. And to see multiple coaches come through there and have the same sort of success or lack thereof, it has got to be something frustrating, especially watching Oklahoma do what they've done the last couple of years. Now,
and also seeing Matt Rule do what he's done at Baylor. Baylor was 1-11 2 years ago.
Yeah,
it's nuts.
It's amazing. Real quick before we move on, Tom Herman played wide receiver. As a former wide receiver, I'm never going to have any sort of pregame routine that gets me involved in any headbutts. In fact, we had a coach, Coach Red. Red Anderson was a defensive line coach. He would come through the tunnel and start headbutt. I tried to stay as far away from him as I possibly could. I don't need any of that.
Even with the helmet?
Everybody would have their helmets on. He'd do it, and blood would be coming down his face. I don't need any part of that deal, PB.
Sometimes it just means too much. I think that's fair to say. All right, second question on a rapid-fire water cooler, GR3.
All right, well, you guys know I'm a sap. I like some sappy stuff. And I kept this one a secret from you guys, but check this out over at Youngstown, where quarterback Nathan Mays was hurt early in the season. They decided to dress the senior on his last day, and his lineman carried him out to take the final snap as Youngstown State pulled an upset victory over the weekend. And Youngstown State, coached by Bo Pelini, I thought this was just a great moment.
How about that? That is cool. Bo Pelini, remember, defensive coordinator for LSU way back in the day when they won their national championship. Now I think he's done an incredible job, and some coaches just fit the right place. Pelini is that in Youngstown State, but that's very cool. You know what it reminded me of? Remember Brian Leftwich with Marshall way back in the day?
Brian Leftwich, yeah.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
Good thing.
He actually got hurt in the middle of that game, and they were carrying him down the field in a 2-minute drill. That was unbelievable. Yeah, hey,
very cool.
I'm glad you included that, though, GR3. We appreciate your sappy side.
Yeah, look at that. We've been doing 13 weeks of this show, and you finally brought up something good on the show, GR3. Like, hey, sorry.
Hey, the broken clock's right twice a day. You know how it is. I get lucky, so I appreciate it. All right, so let's get to the next topic, though, here. When PB, you've been going on this all day, 4 or 8-team playoff. Which do you prefer and why, PB?
Gimme. I was locked into Arizona State, Oregon because everything, right? College football, the whole landscape depended on that game because it led to a situation where Alabama had an opportunity. And here's the deal. If you want expanded college football playoffs, you actually got it, right? Okay, Penn State had a playoff game. They lost it. They're done for the year. Oregon had a playoff game against Arizona State. They lost it. They're done for the year. Oklahoma had a playoff game, right, against TCU. They won, so they advanced. Baylor had a playoff game. They won against Texas in advance. Utah had a playoff game. They won in advance. And if you want a college football playoff and you want to have it a month after the season, that's fine. I get it. I understand why people want more teams, but you're going to lose what I think makes college football the best sport out there, and the fact that every single game could matter.
It's funny that you
Could
mentioned
matter.
that. That was the same argument that was being used when everybody was proposing a 4-team playoff, and the 4-team playoffs worked really well to this point in time. I'm a proponent not of the 4, not of the 8, but of the 6. Let's expand it. Let's give the top 2 teams a bye, an opportunity to get those other teams there that are right on the cusp. And I don't think you water it down by doing that, and I don't think you lose some of the importance of those regular season games.
I don't want to watch. I don't want to be able to watch a game and go, the outcome here doesn't matter. I vividly remember leaving stadiums and watching games on Saturdays thinking, I can't move. I'm immobilized with fear and disgust because my team lost. Kind of like Florida fans felt against Georgia, right? They felt like that was a playoff game for them. They beat the Georgia Bulldogs in Jacksonville. They feel like they could have made a run. But that's what makes college football special. Right now, you see load management in the NBA. Guys don't want to play every single game. 162 games in Major League Baseball, right? Those guys take days off. NFL, you'll have guys that just say, oh, you know what? Yeah, we lost to the Chiefs this week. I mean, it's not a big deal. We'll get an opportunity. If I want to see mediocre teams win a title, I'll watch the NHL. I'll watch the NFL and Baltimore Ravens get hot at the right time in 2012. College football is about being elite from start to finish. And I'm sorry, if you want an expanded playoff, I'm going to watch it. I get it. But the idea that this helps the SEC is kind of laughable because guess what? If you're worried about getting 2 teams into the college football playoff in the SEC in a 4-game, there's a pretty good chance you would get 3 teams in on an 18 playoff.
No question. I think you set up any sort of dynamic, and the SEC is going to do well in it just because of the way it's structured.
Here
Take
it
a
is.
look at your tweet here, my friend.
I figured it out.
You spent a lot of time on this as well.
3
You've been
teams,
diligent in
right?
Preparation.
3 SEC teams in the playoff. Oklahoma State beats Oklahoma. That's Bedlam. Can that happen?
That very well could happen. Yes.
Baylor loses to Oklahoma in the Big 10-12 championship, right?
could happen.
That
Yep.
would take out the Big 12. Michigan beats Ohio State. Can it happen?
Very well could happen.
Okay. Georgia beats LSU in the SEC championship game.
Might happen.
Could happen. Oregon beats Utah.
I think that will happen.
Okay. Wisconsin beats Minnesota.
Yep.
Okay, that can happen.
Very well could.
Wisconsin beats Ohio State. That's the one that's probably the biggest question mark if Wisconsin could beat Ohio State. But if all those things happen, it would be Clemson, Georgia, LSU, and Alabama. And we'd have an 18 playoff within like 45 seconds of that actually happening, probably.
How excited would we be down in this part of the country, and how sick would the rest of the country be?
Well, and you know what? Actually, the rest of the country should embrace this. If they're in part of with you and they
the
want
expansion.
an 18 playoff, they should want more teams in the SEC because then that's going to get other commissioners to say, you know what, we're going to have to change it right now. I think there is going to be a change coming. I can read the tea leaves at this point.
Unfortunately, it's not necessarily about the excitement of the season as much as it is in dollars and cents. Expanding the playoffs is only going to put more money in the pockets of everybody across the college football landscape.
And hopefully student athletes as well, too. We'll talk a lot more about that in the next hour. Chris Doran, Peter Burns, another hour to go here on SEC This Morning.
They are among the great